Alright guys, we got something exciting today. We're gonna actually go check out another vehicle for the channel. So we got the truck and trailer hooked up. As you can tell, that's not my truck. I did borrow a truck thanks to my brother. The roads aren't very good still. There's a bunch of salt on them from the snow, and I just don't like driving the turbo GMC in the salt if I don't have to. So we were able to borrow this, so we're gonna get on the road and see if we can make a deal happen. We have some Amish playing out in the field. I guess that's a school. Nothing but fields and Amish. So I was kidding, guys. There is nothing around here. There's another Amish school. There's a big giant Amish farm and just fields. Alright guys, we're pulling up there. We finally came into civilization here, and there it is. He's got some stuff parked in front of it. Let's get out and see what we can do here. Alright guys, we checked the truck out and we actually struck up a deal with the guy. I'm pretty excited about it. It's a nice little truck. There's a couple small issues with it. One is it has a bad motor in it, which I knew. But the biggest deal is after we struck the deal, now he's having problems finding the title. So we're gonna give him a couple minutes, see if he can come up with the title. Obviously if he can't, then we're not gonna do the deal, but hopefully he can, because I'm pretty excited about this truck. We struck up a deal. Let's get this home. And we made it home with the truck. Let's get it unloaded, check it out a little bit. It's an Amish buggy. She got a little dirty on the ride home. We have it in the garage here. It's a decent little truck. I really like that bright red on the Extreme trucks. Looks killer in my opinion, but I think I might actually drag the hose out. It's above freezing today. It's like 36, 37 degrees, so we might drag the hose out and give it a bath, see how it cleans up. Doesn't look too bad. It does have some clear coat peeling in some spots. Little chipping on the tonneau cover, and again some clear coat on the mirror. But overall, it's really not a bad looking little truck. We'll get it cleaned up, see how it looks. Alright guys, we got that truck all cleaned up. It actually cleaned up pretty nice. We got it washed up. It does have a couple of small issues. We'll go into that a little bit more in the future. We'll do something with that truck, but we'll discuss that later. Anyway, back to Project LSXTREME. We did get our parts here cleaned up. We got them glass beaded and sprayed with the stainless paint. Got the front cover, the balancer, and some other hardware for our brake lines and stuff. So our crossover pipe too, or steam pipe. So we're getting ready to install this, and this also should be aligned, and I have the alignment tool right there, again from Sac City Corvette. Now I got the gasket. As you can see, I have the gasket on there, all the bowl holes line up, but it only goes on one way. If you can see right there, that doesn't match. So we need to swap this gasket around and flip-flop it, and then it comes out around that galley plug. This side doesn't have it. So even though the bowl holes line up, just pay attention to that. You don't put it on backwards. All right, we have our cover on there, and you can see how much play there is even with all the bolts in there. There are no dowels to align this. That's why we need our alignment tool. But before we do that, in these, we're gonna go ahead and put the oil pan on right after this. So in these four corners, one here, one there, and then the same on the back cover, we're just gonna put a dab of RTV there. GM did, so we're going to also. So with the RTV there, we're just going to use this alignment tool and slip that onto the crank snout, tap it into the front cover, and we are aligned there. So now we'll go ahead and snug these bolts up and pull our alignment tool out. With the alignment tool out of the way, we're going to put our front seal in now. I did forget that. So we have the seal in there, and again, this doubles as a seal install tool also. Seal installed, now let's hit the oil pan. You can really do this in any order. My OCD just makes me do it in a certain order. So anyway. All right, we got our oil pan hanging there with all the bolts started. We do have to sort of align it. It's not super critical except for kind of front to back. As you can see, we have a small gap there, just using a straight edge. You can push this pan forward and back a little bit, and really there are some O-rings that line up here at the oil galleys. But I think most important is you don't want your pan sticking back too far or too far forward when you put your bell housing bolts in. You don't want it, pulling or pushing. You could break the pan. So we'll get this lined up. All these bolts are 18 foot-pounds, and the two smaller, longer ones in the back here are 106 inch-pound. All right, we got our pan all tightened down. So we got a rear main seal, rear cover gasket, new oil pan gasket, of course, because it's a new pan, new front cover gasket, and a front seal. So we're pretty much resealed the whole bottom of this motor anyway. Next steps, get this balancer on, harmonic balancer on. The easiest way to do this is just lightly heat this ring, the snout, and that will actually just slide right on, at least far enough to where you can get your bolts started. So a lot of people don't like that way, but I've did it a lot of times and never had an issue, and it always works really nice. So let's get that heated up and get that slid on. All right, guys, like I said, that slid right on, and literally 2 seconds later, it locks right onto the crank. So we're not talking about heating that, cherry red hot or anything. As you can tell, we didn't even disturb any of the paint that we put on there. So just, lightly heating it, it will actually slip right on. You got to remember, when your motor's running, it's going to be about 210 degrees anyway. And right now, this crank is actually cold. So you heat this up to roughly, say, 200 degrees, slip, and this is cold. This is going to slip right on, and that's the way it works. All right, of course we have the balancer on. I just put an old bolt in there and tightened up. Before we actually do the torque, I'll tighten up to I forget what foot-pound that is with an old bolt, just to make sure this drew on completely, and then we'll pull that out and use our new bolt, and it's a series of so many foot-pounds and then so many degrees after that. So but there's no way of doing that right now with this thing swinging in the air. So we'll just wait until we get that in the frame, and then we'll have a lot more leverage to torque that down. Our motor is looking really good now with the fresh paint, glass beading that and painting it, clean up the balancer, new motor mounts, new oil pan. It's really starting to come together. Really looks good. So the heads look kind of dingy now. We'll clean up the gasket surface for sure once the headers are on there, and we'll clean the valve covers up a little bit more. If we get them clean enough, excuse me, we may even spray them this stainless color. But really the coil packs go on top here, and you really don't see a whole lot of these. But we'll definitely clean them up a little bit better than they are. So anyway, I think we're probably about done for the night. I might keep working on it a little bit more, but then I gotta go in and edit. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll definitely be talking about that Extreme we picked up today. A lot more to come, so tune back in. Please subscribe. Have a good day.